Okay, I think this time it's working. Had a false start, if you happen to catch a couple seconds of the last one. Had a bit of a false start, so sorry about that if you were watching. Just decided to have a little fun with the Lyra-8. It's been a while, so wanted to have a little bit of fun with some Lyra-8 and some little friends. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to grab. Hold on a second. I was in such a hurry to get started, I forgot my other part here. Where is part 2? This makes wonderful stream content. Sorry for this delay here. This will be worth it though. Have some audio input, little tests, and I have some little processing stuff on top of the Lyra-8, just some effects on board just for fun. And a little CV control, because I'm not really seeing anybody doing some cool CV demos with this guy. So we're going to play with that a little bit. A little bit of CV, a little bit of gate. I'm going to try a couple different things. And did this a couple days ago, and it seemed to be okay, so we'll see. Okay. So if you haven't seen before, the back of the Lyra-8 has a bunch of inputs. You got, of course, power switch, power in, CV voices, which allows you to do a very loose CV tracking of pitch. So if you hook a pitch sequencer like this SQ1 to it, you get some nice little results, but it's not super accurate. You're not going to track up and down the octaves, but it's close enough. It's fun, actually. And then you have CV delay, which allows you to do CV control of the delay circuit at the top, which gets really whacked out. It's really fun. And then there's a hold gate, which lets you do like a tremolo type effect, or a kind of a stuttery thing in and out with the gating of the notes. And then there's a external input, so I'm going to plug a little drum pattern into that. And then there's a main out and a headphones out, which I'm using for the mixer. So let's get started here. I'm sure most of you tuning in have seen the Lyra-8 all over the place, in musical as well as sound effect contexts, stuff like Forbidden Planet, drones, all kinds of weird stuff. Give me a second here. I'm going to do a quick check on the stream audio from your point of view, and also bring up the chat in case people are on to chat. Okay, so audio seems to be working. Cool. That's all I needed for that. So yeah, Lyra-8. Soma Labs. Vlad Kramer is kind of a mad electronics genius for making pretty wild. He's a performance artist as well as a musician and a inventor of sorts. And he has like a performance dance suit that has sensors in it to move around the room and to control synthesizers and stuff, which is pretty wild, like a cat suit kind of thing. But he started making these kind of instruments. This is one of the earlier ones. At least 2017 this came out, something like that, out of Moscow. They started making them in the UK as well, just to make it easier to make more of them and ship them out and so forth, because of the Moscow delays and stuff. And now with things going on in the world right now, you would not want to try and ship something out of Moscow. And I won't go into details on that, but so anyway, very interesting thing. It's called a Lyra-8. So Lyra, like the Greek harp. I think it was usually 4 notes, maybe 5 notes. I'm drawing a blank, but Of course, there's a constellation Lyra up in the sky if you're into astronomy, and it's kind of roughly the shape of a little harp thing. It looks like the state of California, basically. So easy to find. When the sun has gone down, it's still barely. Is it still barely visible before it goes down? It's part of the summer triangle, so it's no longer summer. But I think you can barely see it when the sun goes down right now. But I digress. So you have a volume / distortion circuit, a really wild modulation delay circuit. It's kind of like a bucket brigade analog delay circuit with all kinds of options with CV, like I showed in the back, and various other settings in here. Then there's a complex LFO called hyper LFO, which can be 2 separate LFOs, or it can be routed through its, like put in a chain. And with the sync mode, allows you to do some kind of FM tweaks with the LFO. The audio part of the circuit, this degenerator circuit, is kind of fun how it's top down. So it's 2 banks of 4 and 4. You can control global hold with hold on the first 4 with this one, hold on the first 4 with this one. Depending on how the knobs and switches are set, you may have to turn this way up to get into drone mode. And there's also a total feedback setting, or individual feedback based on the little feedback settings in the delay. And they have these modulation circuit here, along with this sharp thing. Sharp allows you to control the oscillator type. Oscillator waveform. So it goes from triangle roughly to square wave, and some in between mixing. So all the way left is triangle, all the way right is square wave. And modulation allows you to do this cross mod thing. So you have your FM kind of stuff you can do with the LFO. These little settings here, this is the numbers here mean this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So this shows 3 and 4 will modulate 5 and 6, or if you do the top one, or 7, 8 will modulate 1 and 2. But you also have individual ones here too. So if I turn this one up, this side will modulate 5 and 6. This side will modulate 7 and 8. So this cross mod, right? And based on how you've configured the modulation, after you've enabled the cross mod, you get some really nice FM stuff in here as well. It's pretty wild. So these can all be turned up to be cross mod. And they tell you, again, the numbers up top tell you what they're modulating. So this modulates 1 and 2 right here. This will modulate 3 and 4 right here. Or I can just turn them off. And then you have master pitch over the 4 and master pitch over the 4. And again, master hold, master over the 4, master 4, hold over the 4. So you have 2 complete drone sets if you want. Or don't turn hold on here, and you can hold as many notes down as you want. Notes, I say in quotes, because it could be noise. And what's cool is these are not just simple circuits where you're just bridging a gap. It's a man of skin contact, just like you have on a Buchla touch system, touch keyboard, or Microfreak, or some of the modular controls out there for Eurorack, where it's about skin contact for amount of signal. And you have these kind of simple envelopes here. So down means fast, so slow, up is slower, it lingers longer. It all depends on other settings here too, obviously, but it's just a really simple explanation of it. So you have control over the 4 different sections with the envelope speed, essentially. Each one has its own tune. So this is like a global tune up here for the 4, and then fine-tuned for each individual control here. And again, they share a waveform setting and a modulation setting per pair. So you have 4 individual pairs, And so just top down, you can see it's very logical the way it's laid out. So more general to more specific all the way down. And like I said, you saw the stuff on the back for doing fancy controls and stuff. So it's a pretty wild little thing. I like the white one because you can see the controls very clearly, but they have a yellow one. They have a pink one they came out with for a while. There's a black one. There's some kind of like a lime green one, almost like chroma key green. And so there's all kinds of stuff if you want to go crazy with the colors, which I like this better. It's cleaner and I don't have too many white synths, or white drum machines, so it's kind of nice to have a contrast with the gear. So let's quickly go through, before I get into the more elaborate tweaks and live stuff, let's do a quick audio input demo, since this is something I'll just turn this off because this battery might die in this thing. So I'm using a mini K oscillator thingy. K oscillators, is this the K oscillator 02, I think it's called. And so I've already dialed in the rhythm section here. It has these cool little drum loops, and using the Chaos pad, you can, with changing your finger position, you can have it do cool like fills and other kinds of drum tweaks on top of a pattern. So here's the basic pattern. Let me make sure this is up high enough here. Turn the distortion down. And you can, it's a combination of filtering and, right, so you can do that. So I just tapped one in earlier. And so you can, using the audio input circuit now, so I can start engaging the delay. So you can do like cool chorusing effects in here. Like some of the drums in the old first Cars album. And you have these different settings here. So right now it's set to, this was manual modulation control in this middle setting. Turn the feedback up. It gets pretty chaotic pretty quickly. But you can find some sweet spots where things are actually mixing. So now getting in the middle, a little bit of like almost like a reverb mixed with a delay effect. And it's a little bit of chorusing as well. You can also go to self mode. This is where you start getting really crazy swells and feedback, so you got to watch out because you can blast your ears or a speaker. That's kind of fun though. And of course you have distortion, a little drive circuit to make it filthy. And I have this other one I can add some reverb to, leave it this setting and just add some reverb to this. It says also a filter on it too. Anyway, quick and dirty audio input demo. I'm going to try this real quick too and see how this works. Got a microphone here. I don't know if this has enough juice to do anything with the microphone or not. But I wanted to try. Well, there we go. So you can hear me talking through my normal mic as well as this mic. And I can turn this up a little bit, and I can make this crazy with my voice here. Get that crazy feedback going there. get the idea. Audio input. Very fun. Okay, so I don't need this anymore. But I will probably use this effect a little bit later. So now, let's try another esoteric thing before we get into some other just sound exploration with the Lyra. See you guys in chat. Sorry, I've been ignoring you a little here. How's it going, everybody? Let me do a pop-out chat. This is too small. I can't read it. Pop it out. Why is that still so small? I tell you, some browsers, the way they handle this stuff, it's really annoying. I'm happen to be using Opera right now just because it was working better lately with StreamYard and some glitches that I had. See if I can boost this up at all. Has to be a way to explode this guy a little bit. Every program's a little bit different. No, I don't care about that. Well, I just have to make do here. You guys don't really need to see the screen anyway. This is more for me to keep up with what I'm doing. So let me just do a global picture zoom. There we go. I can read it better. Hey, Inverted Popes. Isolde and Isobel. Brett Lemmings. Kaidukas. It's very small. I can't read it quite as well as I'd like to. Sorry. Operculum, what's up, man? Yeah, just having fun with this thing. I just turned down that. I had a rumble on there. So, I was going to hook up the sequencer real quick. So there's a setting here. I don't know if you can see it very well in this camera angle, but this is a 3-position switch. So a lot of these are 3 positions. So this is the middle on here is the modulation knobs. Up here is the like a self mode, and down here is the LFO mode for being tweaked by the LFO settings. Here, if you have it up, it's the cross mod for that for that side. If you have it middle, it's just neutral and just whatever you choose to set these as. And in the bottom setting, depending on how you have some other things set, it's either LFO, a feedback setting, or CV. So when I plug it on, when I have it set to this, and I plug in a CV signal, in this case I'm going to go to the CV. What's it called again? I always forget the name of it. CV voices. So there's hold gate, CV delay, and CV voices. So I'm using the CV voices on the far right, on the back, and that allows me to turn this guy on and do a little bit of sequencing with the Lyra-8. It's not really designed for that. As you'll hear, I'm not using a very long sequence or a lot of range, but Nick Batt has a video on this that kind of explains. He tried to hook a keyboard to it, and you can see it doesn't track perfectly because it wasn't really intended for that. But it is fun to be able to do this and have something going, sequencing while you're doing it. And you can do an audio input, like I was doing with the little drum thing. So you can have a microphone in or a drum machine in, so you can actually route a bunch of stuff in here, affect things, and still play, which is fun. I just don't see a lot of people doing that in videos. That's why I wanted to do this. Oh, another thing I forgot to show is, so 4 and 4, hold right here to turn all the way up. You get, or part way up at least, you get drone going. Well, what if you want to drone just one of these guys? Well, you don't want to keep your finger here the whole time. That could get kind of annoying. So, cleverly, people said, well, use a coin. It's just metal contact, right? And there's your individual drone. Depends how you have it set. Right now it's not continuously firing. I think I have to turn this up a bit. Or maybe these aren't as clean as they look. There we go. Now I get the contact I want. So this is good for if you want to do some quick tuning. Put a bunch of coins across and just match your tuning. And you see this thing has balls, right? It goes way the hell down to where you hear the beating. All the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Forbidden Planet type stuff. You do sweeps. So what's fun is as you get to learn it more, supposedly the lower section is better at doing lows and the higher section is better at doing highs, although they do full range. But supposedly that's how the circuitry was done. And also, like I was saying before, it's not just contact. Like with the metal, it's just going to do whatever it can send across the metal. But different amounts of skin, depending on how they set, will give different effects. You can actually hear different amounts of either modulation or signal based on how you roll your fingers on. Just like on a, like I said, bootleg controller, microfreak, stuff like that. So you can put a couple of these down. Cross mod demo. And turn the cross mod up here and just start messing with the. I'll turn the sharps up to squares. Pretty wicked. Those modulations. And again, I can change them. Now it's doing 7 and 8. Controls 1 and 2. Turn it off completely on this side, so I just have drums, and over here will be the weird cross mod stuff. Chaotic stuff there. It's kind of funny. So let me reset these to center. Actually, no, I need it down for CV. Okay. You also have a global vibrato setting here. I forgot to mention that. So. And you can change the So let's go to the sequence. All right, that's down, that's down, that's down. Let's do some coins on here so we can get some tones. There's some variation there. It's not doing like proper notes, but you are getting some variation. There's probably some other settings I'm not getting 100% right, but the other day I was playing a little bit more of the pitch stuff, but you're getting some variation here. These are actually different pitches. What I had it set for before, I can't tell, because again, this isn't tracking pitch perfectly. So if you went and set this up on a basic oscillator, or any keyboard that has CV control, or even MIDI, there's a MIDI out on this as well, and dial in the exact notes you want, you can get a little bit more than what I'm getting out of this. I don't know what this modulation. Oh, there we go. Modulation was messing it up. That's what it was. I had the modulation set wrong. So hands-free, kind of sequency kind of stuff. Again, it's more of a slightly variable drone than just the normal drone, but it's kind of fun to incorporate a CV sequencer into it to tweak it out. Now if I go to the gate function, which is this one, let's see, that one. This is the gate hold setting. And I think I have to have it on, let's put it on gate mode. Depending on how this set, you can make it almost like a tremolo. Analog synth sounds like when it's broken. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Remember, it's called an organismic synthesizer. Some people are misreading it. Said orgasmic. Noir Blank V on one stream a couple weeks ago was doing a quick chat about I think it was a different version of Lyra-8, like a later color version or something like that. He hadn't used one, and he was calling it the orgasmic sequencer. I said, well, some of these tones might make you a little happy. You want a cigarette afterward or something, but no, it's organismic because the theory behind Vlad's idea with this thing was, supposed to be because it's somewhat chaotic and not linear and not everything's hard locked and stuff like a typical synthesizer where you can play pitches perfectly as long as you have your unlike a DCO analog synth where you've got stable pitch and you've got gates and you've got your envelope triggering everything just right. You can get predictable, perfect, nice little tones out of there. But this is not the point of this guy. The point of this guy is exploration, drones, sci-fi stuff, sound effects, horror movies, you name it, And because it has the range, you hear the oscillator. I mean, this. So it's got some real balls and also some fun modulation settings as well as the effects and things you can augment it, like I'm adding other things to it, like the. And then some pitch and I'm sorry, filter and reverb to it on top of the built-in delay effects. So your mileage may vary. If you hate those kind of sounds, then you definitely will hate this box. But I've done a couple demos in the past where I had like a JDXI or something like that playing some various parts with rhythms and stuff, and then I dialed in a bunch of these as basically lead instruments. So I had predictable tones once I could dial in the tones just the right way I liked, and the echo on it and stuff. I was getting some nice results, and just to be able to play it and then do some little tweaks with the cross mod to give it some flavor. Because while you're in the middle of playing, you don't want to twiddle, unless your whole point is to make a crazy soundscape, evolving, wild kind of thing. You don't want to twiddle most of these too much. These are because these aren't quantized in any way, it's very easy to, I'm not even turning it that much, to go several octaves. So, you have, like I said, you have the master control up here for these four. It's like a course control, just to kind of give a general thing when you're doing the drone settings. But you have, again, complete control over every pitch knob on each thing. So you can do all the fun sci-fi stuff you ever wanted to do, like the Barons did for Forbidden Planet. But it can do so much more. Again, if you go online, you'll see a lot of people using them for very beautiful ambient pieces and little soundscapes that kind of mysterious sounding, or sometimes downright nasty. Or like, I'm sure Charlie Clouser would love something like this. He used to play with Nine Inch Nails, did a lot of soundtracks for things like Saw and things like that. Those crazy kind of like noisy, aggressive, scary tones used in a lot of more modern horror movies. Guys would be all over this kind of stuff, because yes, you could do this with any modular with the right amount of stuff, but if your goal is to make that kind of stuff, and you also like experimenting without hooking up a million wires and getting all crazy, you just plug this in, turn it on, and start flipping some stuff, and it's exploration central. You can have lots of fun with it. So I enjoy it. That's why I brought it out. I wanted to use it more. I got it 2018 maybe, and I've only used it maybe 10 times total. Maybe 15 times total, which is kind of sad. So it's, but again, it's like any other modular synth or really good digital or analog synth with lots of controls on it. It's what you put into it. This is not going to be nasty out of the box unless you choose to make it nasty, or just go random exploration without knowing what you're doing. You want to know what the controls basically mean. So I mean, these are pretty simple. Again, sharp is just, is just waveform type. So triangle to square. You have modulation based on the modulation you've set. You have your pitch. You have your envelopes down here, fast or slow. You have some global vibrato thing. You have this, crazy ass mod delay, which is really a big part of it. Now you have the kind of cool, like ballsy, droney kind of oscillator section down here, but this mod delay section is really, really cool. And this crazy hyper LFO. Let me play with this some more. I'm going to turn this off since I'm not using it. Save the battery. These are great though. If you have, whether you use MIDI, CV, or even put in a keyboard mode, you can play like a little keyboard. These are, for my money, indispensable. Just over $100. battery powered, and you can get a whole bunch of them. One could be CV modulation control, one could be pitch control, one could be whatever. So they're great to just have around to plug into different stuff. It even does, there's several jacks on here. So there's an A and a B, and it can be one massive circuit, or it can be two, and you can do like back and forth on one, back and forth on the other. You can do this Z pattern, or back and forth, like chasing lights kind of stuff, or two independent 8-step sequences. And what's fun is because there are two channels, you can have the different outputs. So the A and a B, CV, and gate. But there's also a sync for Volcas. So you can use this as part of the vocal path, or other things that take sync pass through. So it's like, almost like a primitive type of MIDI clock to go through here. And you can also do, again, MIDI out with a dongle. That's what this little thing is, Velcro to the back here. It's a DIN 5 dongle. And then you have, actually, because it's made by Korg, they have a Korg Little Bits jack as well. So if you have the Korg Little Bits synth kit, where you can snap together little magnet modules to make synthesizers, you can even, there's a different kind of sync flavor for that one apparently. So there's a Little Bit sync as well, which is pretty cool. So great little boxes, Korg SQ1. What else was I going to do on here? Oh yeah, I was going to play with the LFO a little bit. So let's put it in a coin operated, drone here, because I don't want to do a master drone. And I'm going to turn off the, so I have it kind of playing right now. And let's play with the LFO. Right now they're in sync, so they're actually doing a kind of an FM different mode. You can make them interact more. Right now it's in an OR mode. I can do and now they're actually totally synced. Not as cool as I thought it would be. I got to play with this mod some more here. Let's incorporate some delay with it. Sounds out of it there. Well, another thing I forgot to mention too is so like a lot of modular stuff, it's not really amazing for reproducibility, although it has switches, it has, some pretty basic knobs with markings on them and stuff. can't necessarily get to exactly where you were. So you always got to record stuff while you're playing. You never know what you're going to get. But for fun, I went to the website a while back, and in Photoshop I actually scaled up the drawing, and I was going to actually make these templates. So I made it exactly the same size, and I was going to do some cutouts, so you can see the little markings on there, and just I was going to basically get the cutouts working correctly, then glue them on top of some cardstock, and then then I could just basically throw them in a bag, and anytime I wanted to, just do some quick, just like I have those templates on the Mini Brute, things like that. But again, you can eyeball the knob positions, with little red little marks here, so you don't need to drop it on top of it. But it is convenient if you want to just do it quickly. They give you some preset examples of various patches and stuff. And there's some blanks in here. You can make your own patches. This is one I was experimenting with to get the holes right. But yeah, it's kind of fun. So you can kind of make it a little more reproducible, a little more predictable instead of totally experimental and not knowing where the hell you are, kind of stuff. If you download the stuff that they gave you and print it out, it's kind of fun. So what else we got? Yeah, just fun stuff with the mod delay. There's also the CV thing. I forgot to do that too. The CV over mod delay. Let's put it on CV mode here. And let's see. So it's also creating some tones are actually being generated by the CV through the thing. You can hear some notes there. Get a little bit louder here. I said it works better. Kind of low. I don't want to crank it too much on the mixer because when I go to some other setting, it's going to go. But you can see this is actually tweaking the mod without, I'm not playing anything. You can already get it to do some weird stuff with just that. But now if I were to, let's see, let me take this down so it doesn't blast everybody. Let's go back to the rhythm on this one with the audio input, which is also going through that same circuit. And let's go to, that's still plugged in? Oh no, I forgot to plug it back in. It's Donkomatic. Recording of a little pattern here. Now let's engage the circuit being tweaked by the SQ1. So it's adding some extra little mojo to the normal input you heard earlier just from this guy being tweaked by the circuit. Hey Brett, thanks. Pretty crazy, huh? It's fun. Again, because it's all totally manual and no detents, no ratcheting, no encoders of any kind where you can feel. It's totally loose and analog, so every time you play it's going to be a little bit different unless you get some muscle memory. And I can still play something on top of it. Now there's no tap tempo, right? So if I want to have something rhythmic and something here to pulse with it, it's again, it's all by feel, by ear. Pretty crazy. I have no idea what I'm doing. And again, it's 4 and 4, right? So you don't have to make this chromatic going up this way. You could low here, have a couple low ones here and a high one here, whatever you want to do. If I want my hands free, I put a coin down. cross mod stuff on here. Some like humpback whale sounds in here and stuff. Go. So that's just goofing around with some rhythms through the input. And yeah. Like a lot of things, your mileage may vary. So it's just about having fun. And like I said, I literally have not, other than the other day, just to make sure it still worked and to come up with a little scheme to hook this thing up as a quick test. I haven't used this thing in 2 years, maybe 3 years. So, I mean, I understand what the controls do roughly, but there's also this synergy between the controls. So that's what you really have to get a feel for by using it a bunch. So Grace uses hers a lot and gets all kinds of kind of gnarly, drony bits out of it, some aggressive tones, and also some beautiful little ambient stuff out of it. So because you have a choice here, like unless you do splits and layers on a typical synth, you pick a preset and that's the sound you have across all the keys for the most part. Here it's literally within the limits of the box. Every single control here can be completely different whacked out sounds based on the cross mod, the pitch, the waveform you've chosen, how it's routing through the LFO, and the setting on the mod delay, and how much distortion you got turned on. And so that's why it's pretty fun, because maybe maddening for some people who want consistency and come back and set and forget and exactly where you left it and all that kind of stuff. You're just not going to get that with this guy. It's not the point, and that's not why Vlad designed it. Same thing with so Terra is a little bit more predictable because it has scales on it. You can jump through a bunch of different scales and presets and really cool modulation stuff on there. I'd like to get a Terra as well. It's kind of like I would see it as almost like a cousin of this guy. It's just a lot more predictable though. But then he has like the pipe, which it's a contact mic or an input, depending on how you use the jack on it. So it comes built in with a contact mic, and you basically play it like a kazoo. You just basically hum into it, or you can yell into it if you want as well. It's because it's contact mic, so it's sensitive enough to yell into or to pick up vibrations. So you could put it on a wire and tape the contact mic to an instrument, like a guitar or violin or something like that. Or you could just use it directly and play it like it's meant to be handheld and played like a little saxophone kind of thing. But it has all these different crazy modes in it with effects and feedbacks, distortions and stuff, and it's a blast. But again, it's, unless you hook it up differently, it's human powered. So if your pitch doing the kazoo style, like woo, if your pitch stinks, then it's going to sound weird. So there's a certain amount of practice you would have to do with it, and a certain amount of expectation out of the instrument. I love it. I don't use it that much either, although I should. But it's also a lot of fun, and you have these crazy, even more effects than this has on it, and distortion modes, and kind of these steppy, tap tempo-y kind of stuff. And you just never know. And it uses arcane symbols for the dial that you choose. So you have to either memorize what they mean or have a little chart in front of you. But it's really cool because it has these same kind of touch contacts on it. And the touch, in this case, touch is mostly controlling your engagement of the oscillator, which is running through the effects. On the pipe, one touch control is engaging the input on the mic, and one touch control is effect on and off pretty much. So that's really wild to bring effects in and out with touch very, very quickly. Either tapping it really quickly or kind of rolling your finger across it or holding it on there. So he's a really wild guy. Makes really cool instruments. And this is it's like $700, something like that. $600, I forgot. Maybe it's gone up. But, you know, as an exploratory device, which can be pretty, can be nasty, it's I think it's worth the money. It's pretty fun. Some of the other stuff might be a little too weird for you. Like the Cosmos looper thing is pretty weird. Very powerful, but kind of weird. Not your average looper. The pipe is weird. Terra is very weird looking, but man, if you figure that thing out. The cool thing about Terra is it has an accelerometer in it. So if you put it on these little shock mounts, like a springy thing, while you're playing it, you can kind of do this with it. And it will basically add modulation to the sound. So you can do like vibrato and tremolo kind of stuff. And so it's kind of wild. So it's another level of thing. You have touch things you can roll, those little kind of hemispheres. You can roll your finger over to get different amounts of contact. But you can also touch a whole bunch at once, and you can shake the whole thing and vibrate the whole thing. It's pretty crazy. So Terra is still on my list. I just don't have any money for it. So if you guys are interested in more melodic stuff, Terra is definitely more melodic, but also has some crazy stuff like this has on it. It's not completely, you know, he's never going to make something that's like, you know, like the Enter is another one that's fun. It has all these little metal touch plates, and it's stereo. So there's like this little pyramid thing made out of metal touch plates. I have a demo I did at NAMM a couple years ago, I think. And some of the touch plates engage effects, and some of the touch plates engage different parts of the oscillator circuit. And what's really fun is you can put like steel wool on it, or like those little metal kitchen scrubbers for your pots. And now you have all this weird metal contacts across multiple plates and different amounts because it's a mesh. So yeah, it's completely bonkers what you can do with that one. I wanted to get that one until I saw the Terra, and I can't afford both of them. So I'm definitely get the Terra over the Enter, but the Enter is also really fun. But again, not a typical thing unless your whole thing is making weird ambient experiments and noise, and you like variation like that. Most people are not going to buy an Enter, or if they did, they'd probably go, "What the hell am I doing with this thing?" So he likes to market to experimental folk. It's kind of thing like, you know, you make music you like first, right? And then either people like it or they don't. Same thing with him. He makes instruments he likes first. That gives him expression for the kind of stuff he likes to do and take in different directions. And he's found a lot of like-minded people that will buy his stuff, but also like weird, performative, bizarre controls and things like that. So I totally gel with his stuff. It's kind of like Osmos. Some people hate the Osmos. It's too quirky. They can't figure out the key wiggle and the deep aftertouch to engage things and stuff. It's just sometimes too much for people. So, or they don't like the sound engine. It's either too digital for them or not maybe realistic enough for certain things. It's very realistic for like flutes and plucks and stringy bits and some other kinds of percussive stuff, like you're hitting a skin. But it's not going to do beautiful string sections. It's not going to do French horns. I mean, it could, but it's not going to sound like a nice library. So you get these instruments for their, you know, what they're for, and you have a certain amount of variation. And I just like the fact that he just goes off the rails and makes these. I mean, he's constantly making new stuff. I can't even keep up with it. He even made add-ons for this. There's a little add-on thing. I think you put it over here, and it adds some contact points with some outputs to go to an actual sequencer he built for this. So if you don't want to do this funky thing I did with the sequencer, which is not really designed for over CV, he built a sequencer for this that will actually sequence it the way it's supposed to be. It's designed around it. So he does augment some of the stuff later with extra boxes and extra plugins and things like that, extra parts. So again, it's more money and it's more stuff to hook up and all that. But if you're into this ecosystem already, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're not, then yeah, of course, people are going to go, this is already too weird and too much. I'm not going to get something else for it. But I've been toying with the idea of getting the add-on for this as well, which is pretty cool. He also made some kind of little, similar to like DMX, kind of light interface things for these. So they'll read the modulation and the pitch and some other parameters and display it on this little light board. So you have a nice visual aid to go along with your performance, or you could aim it at the audience if you want them to see your stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Soma Labs makes really interesting stuff. What's up, Synchrotron? Rustic. What else did I miss in here? Getting too distracted. Yeah, Lyra-8, organismic synthesizer. I could go on for a while, but you're going to hear a lot of kind of the same stuff because I still am getting my head wrapped around it. But it's pretty wild. Definitely horror movie stuff right there. Jump down to the triangle oscillator. Now it's engaging my, oh no, I stopped this. Now the sequencer's messing with it. Crazy ass cross mod stuff in here. Let me turn this off again. Let's see what goes with the regular. It's definitely interfering with the there you go. So when you disconnect the CV, it's like a normal jack, so it's still weird. Alien creatures having sex there. Some kind of Soundtrack for the next Saw movie. Pick another reverby thing here to go through at the same time. Is there a normal reverb here somewhere? Well, slicing would be kind of fun. Grain slicer. Do master, I can just turn this one up and I'll get the drone hold for this side, and now this is free to play over here. have it momentary. Those little delays. I'm gonna go back to reverb here real quick. Yoy, yoy, yoy. Tracker jack. control that one. Trying to find that one reverb setting. The cool thing is you can now have kind of a setting that I like. I have a master pitch here for the whole drone section. Hey, cool inverted popes, yeah. Mine's sitting in a bag for a couple years. So I'm just getting to know it again. So many different ways you can attack it. As like I was saying, you have, you know, master controls, some finer controls, and then individual controls all together with the delays and other stuff. I'm also using some external reverb on it to help a little bit. Be even better with a microcosm, but I didn't want to get that all set up right now. There's already too much crap everywhere. But so I'm using a little bit of the mod delay, a little bit of the reverb on this guy. I should make a loop of this for Halloween. Play it and scare the kids away. Thanks to Verticubs. Catch you later. Squishy bits in there. Took it out of the circuit there. I forgot to ask, is this sound okay or is it getting distorted at all? I'm trying to control the volumes carefully. But I only did a quick audio test when I started. Sounds good? Okay, thanks. Yeah, you're the drone master, Synchrotron. I'm sure you'd enjoy some of this stuff. I don't do drones as much as I like. I do enjoy them, but I'm literally just doing this by the seat of my pants. he has a video? I haven't seen that. I'll check it out. Very Forbidden Planet. Or Outer Limits TV show. That's it. And the vertical. One of my favorite things about that show is some of the sound design stuff is crazy. They had like guys talking through ring modulators and frequency shifters to get really alien voices. Long before Star Wars did it. Ship landing. Cool. Thanks for hanging out, Synchrotron. I'm gonna do a little bit longer. It's getting late here. I'm gonna get some sleep at some point. I was just goofing around here. So that's when you turn one side to drone. Let me try the other side. To turn all the modulation off there. This is where you tune each one. Modulation still on that one. Well, that's weird. What did I do there? That's off, that's off, that's off. That's all turned off. Interesting. Did I kill that? No, that's off. Turn vibrato off. That's off, that's off. Triangle. Let's kill some modulation in there. Some weird setting here. Modulation's off. It's not plugged in anything. Huh. That's very strange. What did I do? What if I turn all these off? Should get something out of here. It's not a volume thing. It's not a setting there. That's turned off. That's turned off. No modulation. Oh, maybe it needs a reboot. That side's not working right now. I don't know what happened. This side's still working though. So in this mode it tracks pretty well, but it's still doing a narrow range. The intervals are staying pretty decent. Very pipe organy. Lots of grunge and harmonics. These low pipe organ sounds. Let's do another setting here. It's Kent Sponk's favorite, the spring reverb. There's a pump reverb. Let's try that. Yeah, I need some sleep. I'm just having fun. looping stuff. Crazy stuff there. Overdone flanger there, that's kind of fun. It was almost like a crazy. Crazy, crazy. Super distortion there. It's just all broken up. Alright guys, that's time for me to get some sleep. I can think of for now. Put a little beat in here, see what happens. elephant going crazy. Take this pitch down so low, and this is so low there's no tone. My left side was just, the pitch was way too low all over the place. Distortion's just great, going crazy on this. Do little trills with the LFO here. Some weird guitar solo. Yeah, it's a orgasmic beat, yeah. yeah, just a little stupid beat on a K oscillator. Run through some effects. Sounds pretty cool. Make it nice and filthy with this overdrive. Crazy with these modulation settings. So hard to twist this really fast. It's nice with like a button as well. Let's go max. Probably has a way to do it with the second CV mode here. Is it this mode here? It's this one. Put it on CV. Pitch. The second one is the LFO mod. Probably because I'm too tired. You get the idea though. Pretty funky. This one. There you go. Pretty funky. Alright, you get the idea. I had too much fun. I don't even want to look at the clock. I know it's really late, but I was having fun, so. There you go. That's Lyra-8 with its little friends. Mini KP, K oscillator 2. I think this is K oscillator 2. K oscillator 1 is a little boxy one. You can use a microphone input. You can use some CV and gate sequencing to augment it. And yeah, there's drone modes here. individual drone modes with the coins or some other metal object. And there you have it. So I think that will do it. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Sorry I wasn't as engaged with the chat as I normally am, but still trying to wrap my head around this thing. It's a lot of fun. I don't know how I'd recreate what I just did and any of that stuff, but I'd have to use it many, many times to just zero in on it. But I was just having fun knowing what the basic controls do and then just experimenting. So good fun. So that will do it. Thanks everybody for hanging out. And if you have a Lyra-8, get it out. There's even a Lyra-4 they came out with for a while. Just, lower cost, smaller. And they do show up occasionally. I think they have a reissue of that recently. I think that's what was going on. It's a reissue of the Lyra-4. Maybe it was a Eurorack version or something. I forgot. But anyway, this has been out for a while. But they're pretty good. I mean, they're really sturdy. As long as people don't trash them. Getting a used one would be perfectly fine. I bought this new because you just couldn't get them anywhere. I had to order it from Moscow, actually. Whatever that was, 2017, 2018, something like that. And yeah, it's really cool. So if you don't have one, check it out. If you do have one, take it out of the bag like I did and have some fun. You never know what you'll come across. So with that, I will catch y'all later. So my camera. There we go. Now I'm in the camera. Got a delay here. See everybody. And see you out there on the interwebs. And have a nice day. If there's a pub later, I might jump in on that. We'll see what happens. Catch y'all later.